Welcome back to Big Bear, California for the final race in the Spartan U.S. National Series presented by USANA. I'm David Magida. Thanks for joining us. Starting at nearly 7,000 feet elevation and climbing to over 9,000, this 7-mile supercourse will grind racers to a pulp with steep, grueling climbs and quad-crushing descents. And of course, 30 obstacles thrown in there to break their rhythm, wear them out, and shake things up. Lindsey Webster has already claimed another National Series title, but she races today to see if she can make it 4 victories in a row. And the real battle is for second and third, as Wetzel, Dube, and Alex Walker all have a shot at those final 2 podium spots. And don't forget, Faye Stenning is making an appearance here today as well. Her first race in the National Series comes on the last race of the season. The stakes are high, and so is the altitude. The final race in the Spartan U.S. National Series starts now.
And your racers are off, and that is Lindsay Webster up in the front, as well as Emmy Cross, Doobie, Wetzel, a number of other figures that you usually see in these races. Lindsay Webster has already claimed the title in this series, but there is a lot up for grabs, as we've mentioned before. Alex Walker, Wetzel, and Doobie all gunning for that top 2 spot, at least top 3. And there are some other figures at play. Faye Stenning right there has made her first appearance on the scene this year. She needs a qualifier for World Championships, so here she is, ready to run. Now up in the front, that is Emmy Cross from Virginia. A bit of a bold start for her, but she is a top 10 contender in this race today, as Doobie has now made it to the top of the first section of climbing and hit that first overwall. There's 2 of them right here. Lindsay Webster right behind her. And Annie, every time we see her, it's another level reached. She just seems to be getting better and better and more comfortable as a race leader as this season has progressed. Lindsay Webster, knowing that she has the Spartan Games, she knows that she's got to take it a little bit easy here on this course. She can't just send it all. She's got to hold back, be conservative, take her shots where she can, but Doobie knows this. She's clearly trying to push Lindsay harder than she'd like to go to start this race. And you look at that incline and how helpful it is just to be power hiking. That's Wetzel in the blue up in the front of that next chase group. Doobie alternating between that shuffle run and that power hike. And that's the secret with some of these climbs. Climb where you can, run where you can, make up ground where you can, but don't waste energy. As Webster makes her move, chasing solidly in second position. And that gap may look far, but we're really only talking about 10 to 12 seconds between the 2 of them. In that next chase group, it's Ariel Fitzgerald, Wetzel, Natalie Miano. And this section opens up for a little bit of running. They'll round a bend, and it'll kick up again as they start running across the mountain a little bit. Heavy legs, but again, one of the better sections to actually start to turn over a bit more than hike as they start to make their way towards the sandbag carry. And it looks like Webster, as they already catch some of the men from the elite race, Webster is slowly pulling herself back into this race. Into Doobie's position, at least, up at the front. That's Ashley Heller right there. You can see Webster's just made a pass on the sandbag carry. Now, if this was the sprint course, the athletes would be banking right and heading back uphill. They're going to head down and add an extended loop. So Doobie is going to have to push hard here on these descents. Webster's such a talented descending runner, especially on the technical trails. It's very hard to resist the urge to brake and to dig your heels in and try and slow yourself down, but you really need to go with this mountain, especially when you're chasing someone who's doing the same thing. Lindsey Webster making it look easy through some of that loose soil right there as she passes one of the water stations coming up. Just the stride, the comfort level. Whenever she races, Webster makes it look like she's just out for a training run, and that is one of her talents, is being able to stay comfortable throughout the entire race.
Good work. Nice job, Annie.
And those two women have truly separated themselves from the field, as Rose Wetzel is still battling right now to maintain that third place position. But who we haven't seen yet is Alex Walker. And you can see just what the descent is doing to Fitzgerald here as she's trying not to overrun them. And finally, she hits a patch where she can start to go back to her normal running stride. An excellent climber. But it takes a lot of very specific training to master that descending. And again, for Doobie, the goal here is to limit the damage that Webster can cause on the descending, stay as close to her as she can till she gets to the bottom of the mountain, and then try and really hammer the climbs, force Webster to keep working. As you see some of the varied terrain right here, they're working their way over all these pine needles. Just loose earth, a little bit difficult to get your best foot to ground power on those sections.
Nice work.
It looks like Rose Wetzel is rocking those classic Bleg mitts, the old school mitten over the glove. So they have the tipless fingered gloves with the mitten that pulls over it. Really effective for some of those 24-hour races in the extreme cold. A little warm today for those gloves, but that's why she's got her hands poking out.
Have a great day.
As Wetzel and Fitzgerald battle for third place, they're both over at Olympus at the same time, and this should be an opportunity for Wetzel to make up some time, but she looks a little tentative. And Fitzgerald may actually be making a pass here. And this has been something we've seen commonly with Rose Wetzel over the years, is She is cautious to make sure that she doesn't fail obstacles, but it has cost her significant time in some of the races over the years. She's now sitting in 4th position. She's going to have to work to get back to that top 3 spot. But she is patient. The place that we most commonly see that is on the spear throw with her. She really takes her time. And this is Alex Walker getting herself back into the race. Very smooth for her through Olympus. Rose Wetzel back into that 3rd position. She's descending very strong today, and that's a great descent right here from Alex Walker. You're seeing that she's really willing to open up on that downhill.
And of course, your leader coming off the first descent, Lindsay Webster, all by herself. Holding nothing back, obviously not concerned about how this will impact her Spartan games. She's going high on it. But not far behind. Annie Doobie still in the mix. We knew that she'd be strong on these steep climbs today, and she's only about 15 seconds back. And he's got big goals of locking up second in the National Series, but also still winning this race and a great opportunity on this next big climb. She wants to reattach herself to Webster and take the fight to her. 3rd place coming in right now, Rose Wetzel. She's trying to lock up her podium position in this National Series. Looking strong, Rose Wetzel, as she heads up the next climb.
And look how steep this next descent is.
Alex Walker just finishing up the pipe layer, but right behind her, Faye Stenning has come back into this race. Haven't seen Faye Stenning all year, but here she is, knocking out 1 race in the National Series to try and get her qualifier for the World Championships. And she's running strong with Tiffany Palmer.
Keep it up, Faye.
As they head up this really steep grinding descent, this is one of the toughest climbs in the race just because it's not only steep, the soil is a little bit loose. You're seeing some of it give way beneath Rose Wetzel's feet right there. There's rubble and rocks that just prevent you from maximizing your foot to ground power. This one's a grind. As Ashley Heller tries to fight her way back into the race as well. Really solid power hiking from her right now. And up behind her, that's Faye Morgan and Casey Monroe. Podium contenders throughout the year. Monroe actually won the Palmerton Sprint.
Nice job, ladies. Way to grind.
The Palmerton Spartan race is one of the steepest ones in the East Coast. The Sprint and Super are incredibly difficult. And there's Faye Stenning starting to move a little bit. She has not been hitting a ton of mountains this year. Instead, Stenning has really been doing a lot of road running in Manhattan. That's where she's based with her Grit Fitness team. said she needed a little bit of time to not focus on racing this year, but she looks like she's back at it, and we'll see some pretty significant improvement out of her over the next month, I'm willing to bet. Every year when World Championships rolls around, Stenning is a contender.
Come on, girls. The three of us. Let's go close on Rose. Yeah.
And look at her passing Alex Walker right there. A little bit of communication between the two of them. Walker needs to hunt Rose Wetzel, so if Faye's willing to go, Walker has to go with her. And they've nearly crested this hill. Again, this just goes to show you how long of a grind it really is. And as they descend, it's Faye standing still ahead of Alex Walker. Can they work together to claw themselves back into this top 3 position? Right now they're sitting at about 5th and 6th respectively. Fitzgerald doing great still, looking at about 4th position. And that's who they're hunting. You can see her up in the distance, about 40 yards up. And even the hiking, you notice the difference that they'll do that forward-leaning hike, that power hike where they're driving their hands over their knees, and then transition into that vertically nice and tall hike. There, they're stacking all their bones, maintaining their posture, trying to take some pressure off their backs. You're changing up the muscles you're using. Am I going very quad and glute intensive, or am I going very hamstring intensive? Where can I take some pressure off my calves? Because the calves tend to catch fire on these really steep climbs. And again, when you can barely see the peak of the mountain, that's when you know you got to really focus on steady grinding. Up ahead, that's Emmy Cross. We saw her in the beginning taking that lead early. She's seeking a top 10 National Series position, but she needs a strong showing in the race today. Every place counts for a position like that, so Cross is going to have to drive and attack these women in front of her. Another one of those top 10 contenders, Ashley Heller right now, could finish anywhere between 6th and 8th approximately in the series, depending on how the race goes. And for those wondering again, it's 5 races for the series, but only 3 count, so you can drop your 2 lowest scores or you can skip 2 of them. As we're over at Twister with Fitzgerald. Going with the sideways technique. It's not fast, but it is the most safe method. It gets very difficult right around here. As you can see that is Faye standing now with just exactly 1 twister length behind. Also going laterally. But skipping some rungs. And Alex Walker, excellent on this obstacle. We'll see as she goes for the hand-over-hand technique. If she can make up a few seconds on Stenning.
Keep that rhythm. Tiffany, get him.
And my eyes did not mistake me before. That is Tiffany Palmer, all the way out from Maryland for this race. It's a long way from home. Followed by Natalie Miano, wife of Mark Battress. And it looks like Faye Morgan, the other Faye, finishing up her twister attempt as well, with Casey Monroe just getting on to that obstacle. Down here at the base of the mountain almost, Lindsey Webster charging into the festival area. Already through the multi-rig and up onto the rope climb. Using her legs to climb the rope for her. She's got that really nice hook there. And as she heads into the tire flip, it is just too easy for Lindsey Webster. And up to the A-frame cargo net. She is entering this finish area all by herself. How far back is Annie Doobie? That's the question we need to ask ourselves, because the last time we saw, they were just moments apart.
I'm sorry, Lindsay.
And everybody's favorite Steve Hammond is actually filming and running alongside her right now. Webster cruising through the Hercoist obstacle. And as she heads up this climb towards the spear throw, there is not much race remaining. If Annie Doobie wants a shot at first place, she's going to need a little help from Lindsey Webster as Doobie now enters the festival area herself. Skipping the last ring. She skipped a couple on there. Doobie did that nice long arm Tarzan swing as she heads over to the tire flip, the rope climb, and then the tire flip. And as you've just heard, 1 minute and 29 seconds between her and Webster. So this is still open. The door is open for Annie Doobie if Lindsey Webster misses her spear. But if she hits it, she's going to shut that door pretty quickly.
Go, go, go! Go, go!
Annie has been just a step behind Webster all year long, but a step ahead of everyone else in the field as well, as she runs all the way to the end to pick her tire.
Tire.
That's to circle back because they ran out of women's tires. This is it. And over to the A-frame. Doobie's going to have to be perfect from this point forward, as now Lindsey Webster has hit the spear throw section of this course. She can lock up this win if she nails this spear here, but if she misses, it's wide open again. Also fixing the tip of her spear, her husband did the exact same thing. And that's a solid strike from Lindsey Webster.
Lindsey Webster just completed spear throw. Andy Doobie having an awesome race, just coming over A-frame into the last obstacle gauntlet.
Go, Annie!
And now Annie Doobie charging home to lock up her position in this race and in this series, heading into the Hercules hoist. And Annie Doobie is through the Hercules hoist, and now the spear awaits her. And this is the last thing that could really shake up this race and give the opportunity to Rose Wetzel, or the opportunity to Faye Stenning or Alex Walker to steal that podium position. And here's Rose Wetzel right now, making her way down to Helix as she approaches the finish area as well, with the festival just off in the distance. She's done this obstacle countless times. It's always a little different coming off the side of a mountain.
Sides are fine to touch, right?
And Webster is now arriving at the bucket carry, the last big section of this course in terms of difficult tasks. And for Webster, it's all about just finishing, because there are no more obstacles that she could fail. She just needs to keep putting one foot in front of the other and set her sights on the Spartan Games next.
Right.
As you just may have heard in the background, our announcer screaming that Annie Doobie has arrived at the spear. So again, not far behind is Annie Doobie. And Webster out for a walk in the park as she's heading towards the apex of this climb. And with it, another U.S. National Series title awaits her at the finish line. Another U.S. National Series victory that will make it 4 for 4 for her on the season.
Yay!
Last year, we saw her battle it out with Nicole Miracle and barely come away with the National Series victory. But this year, with no Miracle in the field, it has been all Lindsey Webster and everyone else competing for second place. As Annie Doobie now putting her mark on this national series. A second place finish here would mean 3 times she has finished second place to Lindsey Webster in a race on the season, and 3 times that she has pushed her but been unable to overcome her. But it also means that she will have secured second place for the year on the series, which is an incredible finish for the Mountain Goat Girl. Just so consistent all year long, Annie Doobie. And she's done it on varying courses as well. Compare this race, which is up and down mountains, to an Asheville course, which was rolling hills all year long. She's been in the mix, but she's been able to do it on these varying terrains. An impressive season from Annie Doobie. As Lindsey Webster has wrapped up her bucket carry. And now it's just a little bit of cold water. Because it's the slip wall that awaits. A little rolling mud, a dunk in the water. Feels good when you're coming off all that hard running. And she's cold. You can see how cold she was. She had to really think hard about dunking her head under that water, and she may have lost her headband just now. And Annie Doobie is leaving nothing to chance. She is still pushing hard down to the bottom of this bucket carry. And she's going to exit out with a solid lead over third place. Wetzel has been fighting hard to hold that position all race long. And she's running for that third place in the series position as well. So this is exactly where she wants to be today, locking up those points. It would be only fitting as we look at this race series that the order that these top 3 women might be finishing in would be the order that they finish in for the series as well. Cautious and deliberate right now, Wetzel is on that deadlift. But back to that powerful stride we're so used to seeing from her with that track and field background. Lindsey Webster has now topped the last obstacle of her season outside of the barbed wire. As she rounds this corner, this is the final ascent. And she can taste it now. Another victory in the U.S. National Series. And another National Series title to your champion, the GOAT, Lindsey Webster. The undeniable greatest woman who has ever graced an obstacle course.
DJ by like 3 seconds. Yeah. Good job.
As she made a little pass in conversation with her husband, Ryan Atkins, right there. Annie Doobie is into the water. You can see the cold that shocked Doobie as well, as she is going over the last obstacle, the slip wall. It's just this and barbed wire. And Webster into the barbed wire.
Make it look easy again. Lindsay Webster, another U.S. National Series title, another U.S. National Series individual victory. Can she be stopped? Go. Four more. Yeah, she soaks it up, taking her time into the finish. Your 2021 National Series champion once again. Lindsay Webster is gonna run it home and break the tape, adding to her list of accolades. A champion once more, Lindsay Webster taking the victory in Big Bear. And Lindsay Webster has wrapped up another year with another series championship, another victory, and now she heads into world championships, unrivaled, uncontested, and ready to claim yet another world title as well. But we'll have to wait for Abu Dhabi to see if that happens.
As Annie Doobie makes her way into the final obstacle as well. What an amazing season from Doobie. You just look at where she started and where she is now. She was considered an underdog coming into the season. Just another one in the field who was potentially a contender to someone who now is legitimately feared every time she toes the line. She has earned a great deal of respect from the competitors in this field. She's now 3 consecutive second place finishes. And let's not forget that second place at the North American Championships as well.
Nice work, Annie. Finish it up. 2 more.
Woo! Looking good. Looking filthy, but good.
Didn't even know the barbed wire was done.
And Annie Doobie coming across the line. She still managed to take second place. Here in Big Bear, 3 second place finishes on the year. What a year from Annie Doobie. Never got that victory she wanted. Always coming up second to Lindsay Webster, but always close by. Competitive the whole way. She made the year for the women's season this year.
And now Rose Wetzel here to close it out, to claim her podium finish, not just for this race, but for the entire year for the U.S. National Series. Wetzel's made such an amazing comeback when you think about how far she's come from being one of the most dominant racers on the planet. She was nearly unbeatable in 2014, 2015. Dealing with so much in her personal life, from her husband's cancer to the birth of her child. And to see her rise all the way back to this level has been a truly amazing thing to see. So one of the toughest moms on the planet, Rose Wetzel, is closing out her season with a bang. And still pushing, still trying to make up seconds where she can. There is no laying back for Rose Wetzel. And she has crested the peak and begun her descent. Not another woman in sight. Rose Wetzel seemed to have this thing locked up. And Alex Walker just starting her bucket carry as Rose Wetzel is wrapping hers up.
Where do I go?
Here.
Thanks.
As well as Faye Stenning, they're still fighting for that 4th and 5th position.
Thanks.
It's been great to see Rose Wetzel really coming back and rounding into form. Not just her ability to race in some of the shorter courses with her speed, but also her endurance, her ability to grind up and down these mountains on these long courses.
Let's go. Solid turn.
Sorry.
Got it, girl. You got this. Woo!
And Rose Wetzel has conquered this 7-mile course, and now she comes in to claim a podium spot in the U.S. National Series. It is a race between the two of them. But Alex Walker may have just enough to hold on to this thing. Into the barbed wire, the last obstacle of her season, and Rose Wetzel, it is safe to say that you are back. Going exclusively for the crawl now. The last few meters of barbed wire.
And Rose Wetzel has managed to steal 3rd place today in the U.S. National Series. She's going to claim 3rd overall in the series as well as today in the Big Bear race.
Alex Walker through the dunk wall.
On your shoulder. Other, there you go.
And it looks like Faye Stenning has just run out of road, and Alex Walker is going to take 4th place, which is where she's been all year long. That's been her approximate finish position. That has been where she's going to end up in the series as well. She holds off Faye Stenning, who needed a little bit of a rust buster today. We know Stenning will be back and competitive towards the end of the year in Abu Dhabi. She always is when it comes to those big races. But Alex Walker has put in the work this year. She's earned this finish. 4th place today and 4th place in the National Series. A great season from Alex Walker.
I'm here with your Women's Champion 2021 U.S. National Series, Lindsay Webster. 4 races, 4 victories in the series this year. How does it feel?
It feels amazing, yeah. Today especially, like, just to be here and wrap it up, and I've got Spartan Games next week, so I think there's a lot of controversy. People are saying, oh, she shouldn't have raced, but I mean, I think this is what I train for, and it's really hard to come to a Spartan race, especially one of my favorite courses, and not do it. So yeah, if I'm trained as a professional obstacle course racer, then like I'm gonna utilize that, and this is what I want to do. So
we're here with Annie Doobie, 2nd place today in Big Bear, 2nd place in the U.S. National Series for the year, and 2nd place 3 times this year. What a year for you!
Yeah, it's been a year like that I never thought would happen, and I'm super excited and just like proud that all the hard work's paying off, and my body's somehow holding it together despite like 11 months of racing, so can't complain. Yeah.
And you were right in the mix. We saw you at the pipe layer, still just steps behind Lindsay, and it looked like you were closing on her a bit at the start of that next climb. So where did things change?
Yeah, I actually took the lead coming up the first climb, and Lindsay caught me. I struggled with the sandbag a little bit. She caught me coming down the descent there, and then she's just such a strong descender, and she just like widened the gap inch by inch, and then just tried to close it as much as I could coming up the next climb, but she kind of already had that gap on me, but tried to just keep her in my sights.
We love to see new rising stars in the sport, and you certainly are one. So congratulations, Annie, on an incredible season, and we look forward to seeing what you do at World Championships.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, and there you have it. Your champion on the season, Lindsey Webster, followed by Annie Doobie, Rose Wetzel, Alex Walker, and Casey Monroe taking the top 5 there as well. That was a huge move from her for the year. Thank you for those of you who joined us, not just for this race today in Big Bear, but for the National Series the entire season. It's been an incredible 2021 year of racing. We have Abu Dhabi coming up for the World Championships, and we will see you all there.